Gimana? Seperti apa?
Okay. Yeah, I always like you to communicate with other classmates. So hopefully you can know more each other. Alright, so let me quickly finish my slides and then back to our final discussion. Basically, we have lots of heterodox goods. So we still have standards. So IQ and IOTA are standard focused on the air transportation. Maritime, they also have other rules. In general, we try to consider several different processes. So handle, package, label, and transportation. 9 classes are mainly help you to recognize how dangerous for these materials. So they divided by 9 classes. So class 1 talk about this explosive. Class 2 they have a different definition, so you can go back on to check like everyone. 3 and 4 are quite similar, but with a different like one liquid, one solid. They have a different standard. 5 and 6, well, also vaccine is also very dangerous. 7 and 8 till 9. 9 is kind of like all others, because like maybe not able to easily to recognize all of them. So nuclear waste is one kind of them. Perhaps you may always find others. So every country may need to dealing with this. We call it heterodox materials and movement every day. Nuclear is the one majority, but still have some other, especially like the 2 years ago, one like the famous Taiwanese company moved to Vietnam. They built one the factory, but also like during the factory they have lots of polluted items need to deal with that. So most of the high technology company, most of the high polluted factory, they also need to worry about that. We don't have time to make another discussion about this because I want to back to my original discussion, but still want to let you know, similar to a nuclear waste, how to deal with that. So standing on the Vietnam's case, like 2 years ago, they decided to against those Taiwanese factory because they make lots of polluted items, pollution. How will you think? Those kind of factory may bring lots of the job opportunities to the Vietnam, but standing on the other way, like from the environmental issue, they will bring lots of pollution and polluted items. So should they to throw out? So that's the key question. Is sometimes very similar to a Lanyu Island. Residents need the compensation because to maintain their daily economic. The other way is they don't like this waste. So it's kind of always occur around the world. So far there is no clear solution because if you refuse this polluted factory, let me find out another country. They will always find out some countries need those kind of factory because they can bring lots of job, they can suddenly increase the economic. So very few countries accept this kind of nuclear waste, but still they can find out one. So I mean, always think about if you're standing on the government side, maybe no solution, but still always think about, can we find out one better compromising solution between the economic and environment? So this is one of my another research interests. We talk about sustainable. How sustainable? So when we talk about sustainability, we mainly focus on 3 terms: economic development, environment protection, and social equity. So why we talk about social equity? Certainly you can move to another country or you can move to another island, but it's unfair to another island, and even and also why we need to choose this area to storage nuclear waste. It's unfair, but where could we do? So in Taiwan, I always debate with they even consider the Hualien, the Taroko Park, to storage the nuclear waste. They evaluate with that actually, but eventually lots of people to against with that. So always thinking when you go back home, think about how to get a balance between the economic development, environmental pollution, and the social equity. Somewhat difficult. All right, so I probably end up my slides here. All others you can go back home to read. But I want to back to my first discussion. I'll give you like 15 minutes. I want to target to two different disasters. Today, I don't need any team leaders. Just quickly discuss, and later we can have a formal discussion. I would like to one thing talk about how about flood. Would like to discuss it. Okay, I like the flood because like maybe we can know more about how flood impact the country operations. So we have friends from Thailand. Another thing, what kind of disaster you want to discuss today? Any idea, suggestion? Earthquake. Okay, good. So we have one team talk about a flood, one team maybe here talk about earthquake. Today I don't want to, I don't want to listen, nominate the team leader. We just quickly and freestyle. I just give you like how about 10 minutes? Just 10 minutes, okay? And then after that, we can quickly back to see how we deal with the flood and earthquake. Just want to remind you, two of them are quite a little bit different. For earthquake, no warning time. For flood, perhaps we have a little information because like based on weather forecast, based on the historical data, we know every summer probably we have this kind of event, a rainy season. So I guess two types of the flood disaster is quite different. So if you are interested in the earthquake, you just locate here and move to here. If you are having interest in the flood, you move to here. And I give you 10 minutes. Think about that. How should we do in response to these two different events, disasters? Okay, just give me a step one to already think about different strategies. I just want you to have a quick discussion. Today we have 10 minutes. Okay, please, just 10 minutes, and we will be back. Classmates like she will prepare the one emergency bag. So inside the bag they have she prepare 3 days some medicine, 3 days water, 3 days food, and replace all the time. And another classmate asked her like why you prepare this bag? Because the earthquake may not occur every day, but it depends on how everyone have a different feeling with the earthquake. But standing on the government side, we try to do the urban planning. What's meaning of urban planning? We try to design this city for example, where should we locate the factory, where should we locate the park, and where is the residential area, where is the business area. As in general, but sometimes we found earthquake, we may not really care about 50 years ago. But now it's time to reconsider the entire city. So we try to evaluate the area and based on historical data to see if the earthquake really occurred, which area may suffer the most attack or impact from earthquake. Then government could do another thing is try to publish some reports. Try to remind the people, so people really read this report. Yes, some residents say, we have no choice, we have to stay here, that's fine. But if someone have the capability to move out, maybe they will reconsider to rent their house or purchase house in another area. So that's what government can do. Sometimes government can do the education. Education child, if you found the earthquake, maybe you go outside or find out, hide somewhere to make sure you can wait for the rescue team to save your life. Something they can do some regular training. Although I'm not worried about it, but still someone can maybe help based on that kind of training. What else for earthquake? Maybe hopefully you can, because I heard from you may not have enough good solution, but always think about that. Standing on the government side, I think lots of things we could do. How about flood? We have two groups separate from flood. Maybe you can share Thailand's flood experience. Later we can back to your home country to share your flood experience. So you want to share with something? How you feel? I mean, every summer I heard from Thailand. I have some school junior from Thailand. They always told me summer I have a heavy raining season. Sometimes it will become a flood. And I remember especially for 2012 during that year. Flood become very serious, so like 6 months long, and most of the area in Bangkok City are suffer the flood. How will you do during that time? Stay at home or?
At first, we need to move the staff to a higher place in the second or third story, and actually, we can have so well prepared from the news announcements from the government on the weather or something like that. But the government initially do the first protection by to help cleaning the garbage first from the flooding way and the dramming and the draining system as well. But when the flooding disaster comes, because we cannot avoid it, it's a sudden disaster, so we have to prepare our emergency team to help when the flooding comes, to help relieve the villagers who are affected from the flooding. For example, and we also have one project of the government implemented. We also like to prepare the drill of the small canal. It's called gambling in Thailand. It's like small canal
Yeah,
of the
make the
reservoir.
river go
Yes,
outside.
and we drain the water in that area. It's like an agricultural area, and we can store that water in that area temporarily. And when the flooding is over, we can use that water as well.
Okay, one more like very good. One more I remember in the Taipei City, we even do more like because like we even consider road pavement material. So we try to find some material they can keep lots of water, do not become flood. And so if you walk to the Taipei City right now, across the street you will find like a pavement is quite different than other city because they spend lots of money to well prepare for the rainy season and to avoid the flood. Anyone want to share the other flood in your home countries?
The floods are not relatively that much because I'd say our country is not really disaster prone. But based on what I saw during the little time that there were floods, there was some, to prevent the floods, the government funded construction of dikes because they usually occur along the banks of big rivers.
Okay.
Yeah, so they constructed dikes in those areas so that they block the water from going to areas where people live.
Oh, very similar to the.
Yeah, but then I was also thinking, last week we talked about some of the factors that are not changeable in logistics. You mentioned one was, I think, the cultural factors.
Okay.
So I think it posed a little bit of a challenge in the management of the floods and the response because when the floods came, the government proposed to evacuate the people from the areas. But the people say no. Our ancestors
It's true. It's true. Yeah. We also have this situation during the typhoon season. We expect the typhoon is almost coming. We try to escape the people, but most of the people don't want to leave their home. Eventually, what will happen? You know, the road may be blocked, disrupted by the natural disaster, and they have to wait for someone to help them with relief and rescue them. Sometimes maybe too many people need to save. So during that time, we have a limited relief team. So some people even die based on this kind of situation. So far, our government has a new regulation. You have to escape at this moment. Otherwise, you will receive some fine or some ticket. You know, you have to pay the money for that. So our government try to push those people follow the rules to move to another safety area. And after a couple of years, so far, should be fine because more and more people are getting used with this new rule. Yeah, so I would just quickly. So I agree with it's very common during different disasters. You want to save people, move to a more safety area. Unfortunately, most of especially for older people, just want to fight with their house. But I would say fine, but sometimes it's a little bit dangerous. So far, our government try to build a new law. Even for a flood situation, we try to also evaluate, we not just evaluate earthquake area, and evaluate the flood area in Taipei City. And some of you may watch the newspapers, we officially have a report. So even for me, I want to purchase a new house in Taipei. I always observe like report to see if this area change. You know, so that will affect also the price of the house. So lots of things we could do. All right, so I think today we have very limited time. Suppose I should give you more time to discussion, or even you just chat, doesn't matter. But every week I wish you have some time to quick say something with your classmates. So sorry about today. Only give you around 5 minutes and 10 minutes also. And final thing I would like to remind you is this is the news on 2002. The zero waste to the sea, to the ocean. You know. this has, you can imagine that around the world, every day, possibly, lots of companies do a similar thing. So it will become another issue. We don't have time to talk about that, but if you are highly interested with the ocean environmental issues, they have lots of organization, NPO to dealing with that. They want to clean the waste in the ocean. They want to avoid these events occurring. So we have lots of ways to do. Just want to let you know, lots of events. Okay, so today I skip some slides and hopefully you back home you can quickly go through one by one. But basically, even though we have no solution, some organizations try to provide some guidelines, fundamental guidelines, to how to deal with those kind of hazardous goods. But just let you think. All right, so today I probably want to end up here. Any question, comments, or suggestions about today's session? If not, hopefully you can find out your good journal paper and find out your good image and find out your interesting topic and about the tour. I'll try my best to do whatever. Hopefully. Okay, thank you. See you.